With the continued interest in naval warfare and all the frigates being built and/or competing for major contracts, we thought you might enjoy a closer look at France's FDI, or Frégate de Défense et d'Intervention. The ship was designed to be a balanced mix of air defense, anti-submarine, and digital resilience capability, all packed into a compact but high-end frigate. Entering the 4,000-ton displacement segment in an extremely competitive and crowded market, let's begin our look at what makes the FDI special. The FDI was conceived to address a specific gap in the French Navy's surface fleet structure. As highlighted by the website Navy Lookout, it was by the mid-2010s that the Marine Nationale faced a widening spread between its high-end Horizon-class air defense destroyers, the large multi-mission FREM frigates, and a diminishing number of aging Lafayette-class light frigates. And so the FDI was intended to replace those Lafayette-class light frigates while avoiding the cost, displacement, and crewing burden of another FREM batch. As explained by the website Marine, it was in April 2017 that the later-to-be-named FDI program was formally launched. At that time, however, it was still called the Frégate de Taille Intermédiaire, or FTI. Anyway, France's military procurement agency, the Direction Générale de l'Armament, or DGA, formally launched FTI through a notification to Naval Group regarding a development contract for these new generation vessels. The naming shift to Frégate de Défense et d'Intervention, or FDI, would come 2 years later in 2019 as part of a broader overhaul of the nomenclature for the French surface fleet. By then, Naval Group had already given the design a commercial identity for export markets, with the export version named the Belhara, or more precisely, Belhara with an at character replacing the central A. A name adopted as early as the end of 2016, it was to underline the ship's digital character. It doesn't seem to have been adopted by the media over the years, as these days it seems like FDI is used more often, even when speaking about the ship as an export. Anyway, France had not previously been represented in the 4,000-ton segment. The FDI would change this as it was positioned between the country's Go-Wind corvettes at roughly 2,500 tons and its FREM frigates at around 6,000 tons. It was hoped that a vessel of this intermediate size would prove more attractive to export markets than the FREM. For the first time in Naval Group's history, the Belhara was designed simultaneously to meet the needs of the French Navy and the requirements of export customers. Indeed, it was a vessel conceived from the ground up as both a domestic workhorse but also an international product. Whether this pays off remains to be seen, at least as of May 2026, when we only have Greece on the list of FDI customers. A little more on that later on in this video. As for the project's construction milestones, here's a quick rundown for the first vessel, the French Navy's Amiral Ronnac. The first steel was cut on October 24, 2019 at Naval Group's Lorient facility. The keel was laid on December 16, 2021 in the covered construction hall at the Morbihan shipyard. Then, less than a year later, on November 7, 2022, the hull was floated out and the vessel moved to an outfitting berth to receive its integrated mast, built and tested independently, before continuing its fitting out. Sea trials then commenced on October 7, 2024. The Amiral Ronnac was then formally delivered to the French Navy on October 17, 2025. When it comes to the ship's platform design and architecture, the FDI's silhouette is immediately distinctive, and many of you commenting on our YouTube videos have made note of how sleek and sexy it looks. The most eye-catching feature is the ship's inverted bow, a feature that claims to provide smoother passage through the waves in high sea states without bow submergence, offer minimized deck wetness, prevent flare slamming, increase waterline length for higher maximum speed, improve close-range deck visibility for asymmetric warfare, and finally reduce radar cross-section to evade threats through stealth. The performance claim has met real-world conditions, and since the delivery of Amiral Ronnac, the FDI has proven to be stable in rough waters, sustaining 20 knots in Sea State 7, taking head-on waves of 6 to 9 meters. On the specifications side of things, the ship has a full load displacement reaching approximately 4,460 tons. The FDI measures 121.6 meters in length with a beam of 17.7 meters and is a relatively compact vessel, slightly shorter but wider than the Lafayette frigates it succeeds. Additionally, Naval Group has envisaged an enlarged version of the platform at 130 meters, achieved through the addition of a 9-meter modular section which increases certain capabilities such as additional fuel stowage for greater range and crew accommodations up to 165 berths. The FDI is Naval Group's first fully digital warship. Indeed, Naval Group explains that it developed a new computing architecture that consolidates all system processors into data center type spaces. Systems within them are virtualized, hardware and software are fully separated, allowing processors to be replaced as technology evolves without touching the software. At the same time, software can be updated without touching the hardware. This architecture is also said to provide significantly improved resilience compared to current ships. In terms of operational innovation, the FDI is the first vessel to natively feature a dedicated management station for asymmetric threat warfare, designed to counter aerial and surface attacks including mini-drones and suicide craft, a station entirely separate from the main operations center which handles all other combat domains. 2 data centers host the ship's software applications, including combat system management, platform system management, anti-asymmetric threat warfare, and cybersecurity management. Naval Group says that this makes the FDI a quote-unquote cyber-secured by design frigate. But of course, many of you are eager to know about the ship's sensors, weapons, and combat systems. And so, first off, the sensor suite is anchored by the Thales Seafire multifunction radar with fixed panel arrays, which also provides electronic warfare capabilities. According to its maker, Thales, the Seafire radar system offers simultaneous long-range 3D surveillance, air traffic management, horizon search, surface surveillance, and fire control for Aster missiles. The system also provides early warning of attacks with over 300-kilometer air coverage, detecting and tracking over 800 objects at up to 90 degrees elevation. It is, in fact, the first vessel in the French Navy to be fitted with the Thales Seafire fixed-panel radar. The 4 fixed panels eliminate the mechanical rotation of older radar designs, providing continuous all-round coverage. The FDI is also fitted with a Kingclip Mark II hull sonar and a Captus 4 compact towed sonar. The ship is equipped with a single integrated mast gathering all aerial sensors, enabling permanent 360-degree surveillance. For armament, the FDI carries 8 Exocet MM40 Block 3C anti-ship missiles and 16 Aster 15/30 surface-to-air missiles from MBDA. The ship also has space reserved to double the vertical launch cells to 32, which would allow for additional Asters or naval cruise missiles. The French Navy's initial standard sees the first frigates carrying 16 Asters rather than 32, with a reduced electronic warfare suite. The French Ministry of Armed Forces justified this by noting that FDIs are designed to complement the more powerful air defense frigates and FREMS, and therefore do not require sensors and weapons of identical power. But for guns, there's a 76mm turret by Leonardo and 2 20mm Narwhal remote-controlled guns by Nexter, alongside 4 tubes for Mu-90 lightweight torpedoes. All systems integrate into the Cetus combat management system, designed and developed by Naval Group at its Olioles facility. For aircraft accommodation, the FDI can simultaneously embark a helicopter of the NH-90 class and an unmanned aerial vehicle of up to 700 kilograms. It can also receive a Special Forces detachment with 2 commando boats. When it comes to sales and deliveries, we can only hope the program is just getting started. France is, of course, the anchor customer. As we already mentioned, the first FDI was delivered in October 2025 and is currently conducting its long-duration deployment. Remaining deliveries are scheduled between 2027 and 2032. A 5th and reportedly final ship was formally ordered by France on March 31, 2026. The 5 French ships will bear the names of distinguished 20th-century French admirals: Ronnac, as already mentioned, followed by Luzon, Castex, Nomy, and Cabernier. Apart from France, Greece is the first and, to date, only other customer. It is indeed the one and only confirmed export customer. Following the signature of a Memorandum of Understanding in September 2021, negotiations were launched by Greece to acquire 3 FDI HN or Hellenic Navy frigates with an option for a 4th. All ships are to be built at Lorient as part of a strategic partnership between France and Greece. Greece would go on to exercise its option in October 2025. The 3 initial Greek FDI HN ships, Kimon, Niarchos and Phormion, are under construction at Naval Group's Lorient facility, with Kimon at an advanced stage of outfitting. The 4th vessel, the one most recently ordered, goes by the name Themistokle. The Greek version is actually considerably more heavily armed than the baseline French variant. The Hellenic Navy's frigates are equipped with 32 silver A-50 cells for Aster 30 missiles. There are also 2 triple torpedo launchers for Mu-90, a RAM short-range anti-air system, and jammers and anti-missile and anti-torpedo decoys. When it comes to other opportunities for customers, we understand that the ship is being offered to Sweden, Denmark, and Indonesia, among others. What distinguishes the FDI from its predecessors is not only its performance at sea, but its engineering to be future-proof. From its entry into active service and throughout its operational life, projected at more than 30 years, the frigate is designed to adapt to both evolving technologies and emerging threats, thanks to its distributed digital architecture. The design allows the ship to be operated with a reduced crew while offering a high level of maintainability that reduces maintenance times and optimizes operational availability, a capacity which will hopefully match the French Navy's FREM frigates, which have maintained an 80% availability rate for over a decade. So, what are your thoughts on this French vessel? Can it go up against ships designed by defense giants in Spain, the UK, Germany, and beyond? Let us know what you think by leaving a comment.